this is alarming news. This is Nature Communications. This is a peer-reviewed science journal. A recent paper was published there talking about the Atlantic meridional overturning circulation, and I think I'm mispronouncing the meridional word, but we'll have to get Michael Mann back on and find out how to say it. It's the AMOC. Sometimes it's referred to as the Great Conveyor Belt. It brings warm water from the southern Pacific down south around the coast, the southern tip of Africa, and then up along the east coast of South America and the United States. We call that the Gulf Stream. And then it goes back out into the Atlantic up near Newfoundland and settles just south of Greenland, releasing enormous amounts of heat into the atmosphere in the North Atlantic. And that heat is what allows Northern Europe, or Central Europe even, the British Isles and everything east of there, to have a climate that's sort of like Michigan when they're actually at a latitude that's more like Anchorage. Europe is way to the north of the United States, or a lot of it is. And the concern is that should this current shut down, it will stop driving that heat into the North Atlantic atmosphere, which then warms Europe and makes it so that you can grow crops there. And there was one winter where, back in the 1800s, I believe it was, where there was basically no crops for one winter. It had to do with a volcano going off, Mount Pinatubo, I think. And the result of that was famine. I mean, it was the year that had no summer. You can look it up. But if this current fails, every year we'll have no summer. And this will be a disaster. I mean, there's 700 million people who live in Western Europe, right? So they thought that if we continue down the current course of burning fossil fuels and warming the atmosphere, that the failure of the AMOC, the failure of this Great Conveyor Belt current, would not happen until the 22nd century. In other words, would not happen for at least another, 70, 80 years. But this new study that was published in Nature Communications says it could happen as early as 2025. That's 2 years from now. Now, they say the window in which they think it's possible, it's more likely to happen, runs from 2025 to 2095. So, it might be a few generations down the road. But they note a disruption of the AMOC's sinking cold water would cause immense climate change throughout the globe. It would create a set of cascading changes of ocean currents, significantly and quickly changing the conditions driving local weather patterns literally all over the world. Europe will see a major shift in climate, potentially becoming drier and colder. And here in North America, we would see a significant sea level rise, and North Atlantic storms would become more severe because of the failure. There's no longer the Gulf Stream. Meanwhile, down in Florida, the water on the southern tip of Florida hit 101.1 degrees yesterday. Now, Jacuzzi, the hot tub manufacturer, Jacuzzi recommends that you set your hot tub between 100 and 102 degrees. So we're talking hot tub temperatures in the ocean off the coast of Florida. Scientists diving, this is from the Associated Press. The headline, water at tip of Florida hits hot tub level and may have set world record for warmest seawater. This is warmer. The previous record was in the Middle East off the coast of Kuwait, in the Kuwait Bay, and it was in 2020, and it was a 99.7 degree seawater. But that's Kuwait, not Florida. So scientists diving at Chica Rocks found bleaching and even death in some of the Key's most resilient corals. NOAA researcher Andrew Ibarra, who took his kayak to the area because of the hot water, said, quote, "I found the entire reef was bleached out. Every single coral colony was exhibiting some form of paling, partial bleaching, or full-out bleaching. Some coral had even died," he said. Now, prior to the 1980s, coral bleaching wasn't even a thing. That was only 40 years ago. They note the temperatures in the North Atlantic are now off the charts, as much as 11 degrees Fahrenheit, 6 degrees Celsius, warmer than normal in some spots near Newfoundland. This is not good. We've got to stop burning fossil fuels. We've got to move to a decarbonized economy, to an electric economy. We've got to do something about this.